Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
Hey, Nick, I washed my hair in your sink this morning.
Oh, looks good. Looks good. Welcome to the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci with Veronica, a.k.a. Valerie Brill. Let's go.
So, Nick, you've got a compound here. It's basically a bunker. There's like codes to every door. There's 50 different keys. It's an apocalypse fortress.
Yeah. I mean, the second you walk out the door, you make the wrong move, like all the
Everything,
flying. I mean,
everything
what are you
shuts
gonna
down.
do?
So I have keys to the fortress, and I decided to try to get myself in here, try to go to the gym. I couldn't get the gym open.
Yeah.
The keys, half of them didn't work. I got myself locked out of everywhere. Had to call you to unlock me out of places. I decided to take a shower here.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here. Might as well. You've got the whole facility. So, a lot of you may assume that this is just my natural color, but I need a little help. So I did a little, they call it a base bump.
Yeah.
I put some dye in my hair. I'm like, I'm going to jump
Your
in that
roots
nice
were showing?
shower. My roots were showing.
You need a fill. You need your roots done. You're a mess.
Yeah, I'm a fucking mess.
Okay.
My extensions need to be taken up, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I have the dye in my hair. I'm waiting for the timer to go off. Timer goes off. About to jump in the shower. Go to turn on the shower. There's no water coming out of the shower.
Yeah. I
couldn't do anything, and I text you about it. And so I had to wash my hair in your sink. And then I had to I'm in a third world country. I had to get a bucket.
You escaped from a communist country. You should be good on the lam, on the run.
My parents did all this work to escape a communist country for me to take a shower with a bucket.
Well,
I filled up a bucket. You don't have any hot water, so I filled up a lukewarm bucket and showered in your shower with a bucket after washing my hair in your sink.
Well, let's give a little bit of a backstory here.
By the way, it looks great.
So yeah, amazing. So the poker world's probably going to wonder, like, why are you in my shower? So let's talk about that.
Well, it's not your shower at your house.
That's why I'm going to whatever. Okay, so this studio is inside of a building that I own in Orange County. And I have the West Wing. So you're alluding to the fact...
He's like the president.
It's a man cave. It has a kitchen. It has a gin room. It has
multiple
a podcast
rooms.
room.
It's a podcast. Yeah.
I got poker tables and shuffleboard outside.
You got
I
a
got
bar.
a gym.
A gym.
Bar. Okay, so...
turtle.
We got a tortoise, by the way.
A tortoise.
And so you're staying here when you come down for the weekend because we do some shows and we have guests on. So... just to be clear, you've always wanted to be in my shower anyways, but you made it. And, I'll tell you what, you may want to hey, hold on, time out. You might want to stick with the bucket thing. You don't look half bad today. Seriously. Like, maybe just go with the bucket thing. A, it builds character. B, your hair doesn't look half bad. Normally, it's not that great.
So I text you and I was like, your shower doesn't work. And you responded with, laugh my ass off.
Yeah, because... The last time you were here, you couldn't shut the front door because you didn't turn the key the right way, and you didn't. It was the yellow key.
I have problems with analog stuff the way you have problems with electronic stuff. Like
maybe I can't get into
we're the opposite of each other.
System, but you can't open a door. So last night around 10:30, you texted me and said the shower didn't work, which is hysterical because
it was this morning. It was this morning.
Oh no, that's right.
Last
because
night
last
I texted you because I couldn't get into the place.
Yeah, that was this morning. Well, last night we had the cleaning crew here. I had left. The cleaning crew's
here.
They
locked me out of everything.
And they locked you out, and you went to dinner down in Huntington Beach over at Coach's, right? Which you liked.
Which
you
was
loved.
amazing.
What a great recommendation. Main
Yes.
Street, Huntington Beach. And then I had to send the gal back to let you in all the doors because
she was very sweet.
Is she? Oh, Rosie's
She gave
the
me
nuts.
a ring of 1,000 keys.
Yes.
Because every door in here was locked, number one, so I couldn't get anywhere. And then every door has a different key. So you're sitting there taking a different key, trying, and then someone like me obviously turns things the wrong way.
And if you do make it in and you're not supposed to be in, you will take heavy artillery.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's another problem.
That's so.
That's a problem I didn't encounter though, so that's good.
Yeah, no, we welcome to the welcome to the Matrix.
So I text him and I'm like, the shower doesn't work. And you said MLAO.
LMAOFLROFL.
And I was like, funny for you because your pits don't stink, but mine do, and I need to take a shower. So, and then I said, it's okay. I was born in a communist country.
Yeah.
I will get a bucket. And I found a bucket in the kitchen, full-size kitchen, by the way, found it with like 100 fridges with a million things in them. I could literally, if there's an apocalypse, I'm coming here.
This is the
I
place.
will survive.
I have T-bones. I have ribeyes. I have flank steaks.
He has a whole freezer of just steaks.
I have Italian tzatziki. I got it all.
A whole cupboard of just like Italian peppers or something.
Yeah. That's called giardiniera. It's Italian oil and the peppers. And then I have different peppers and peppers for peppers.
It's a survivable place. It's a nice place if you can get through any of the doors because they're all fucking locked.
It's color-coded. Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Matrix.
Anyway, I washed myself with a bucket today, so it was quite lovely.
Okay. Well, you're
but
here.
It worked out.
You're
it's
here,
fine.
and it's
I'm
good.
clean. As clean as I'm going to get.
I mean, let's put it this way. Normally, I have you right here. We put you there today. It's better spacing.
Well, Garrett's not here today, so that's why I'm not here.
Okay, whatever.
Hey, what's up, Garrett? I just want to give a quick shout out to Ebony Kennedy, who's doing the Triton series 200K buy-in today, and she's one of my favorite friends
Good job,
in poker.
Ebony. I love her. I met her
Ebony.
at the other place, Live at the Bike. I played with her once or twice. I only met her a couple times. She's amazing, but you know her better. So
shout out to Ebony right now. She's playing that. I just sent her a little message on Instagram. So let's talk about optimization, because I feel like it's a big thing in the poker community. No longer do we have all these degenerates. We have Landon Tice posting plain ass eggs on Twitter and Instagram all the time like it's a new invention, like he's just inventing the wheel. And I love Landon. Landon's a good friend of mine. I've been friends with Landon for years. And you know what? It's just something that I'm not in love with. I created a video imitating Will Jaffe, talking about these plain ass eggs and talking about this optimization.
This egg thing really triggered you.
I'm triggered.
Why? Just
because it's so plain. It's so boring.
It's just a picture of eggs, and you're just like, why?
Why?
I don't get it. Like, why do you care?
We all know how to make plain eggs, bro. You know, maybe it bothers me. Maybe it's just like, enough is enough about the plain eggs. Put some pepper on them. He purposely doesn't put pepper. He said salt, butter, and eggs. Like, it's so boring. I know it's not a big deal. No, I love Landon. I'm just giving him a hard time.
I even saw like your tweet and your video, and I'm just wondering why. Maybe there's some egg thing in your past that triggers you.
It's just enough. It's enough. I've had enough.
Well,
I don't want to eat hard-boiled eggs all the time.
Didn't he lose a bunch of weight?
He did. He looks great.
Right. So maybe he's like
it's
showing
a part
you
of his process.
It's the process.
Yeah,
like he has to. It's like AA. You got to go through the steps. Right? You just got, and then you got to keep working. No, hold on. And then you got to keep working the program. So maybe the egg picture is working the program. I don't know,
so
Landon. I don't even know you, but
from my perspective, it looks like, hey, I've invented the wheel, and we're all like, we've been.
All I know is I saw a picture of him
wheel
in his towel standing in back of our desk. Did you do that?
No, there is one person on Twitter that dedicates himself to photoshopping Landon in his towel doing a selfie onto every picture, every final table in our studio. Shout out to the artist who is doing that. That's amazing work. I actually don't even know who it is. I don't even know.
Whoever it is, he's committed to it.
Well, you know what? We should give that person an award, because we're going to be doing an award ceremony of our own at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, we have to, since no one's going to like nominate us for any awards.
Yeah, no, we're hated,
so
but
we'll just do our own shit. I get it. Yeah, well, that's good.
So speaking of Landon Tice, you know, he's a Solve for Why coach and closely related to Berkey. Yeah,
is he a coach? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And he's so Berkey's in that picture. So what's going on with you and Berkey lately? Let's just talk some more beefs.
Okay, well, So first of all, there's nothing going on between Berkey and I.
We all love Berkey. We just want to clarify that.
Obviously, you're referring to a couple things that I'll mention that we've talked about privately, and you asked me about. Basically, you said, like, "What's this about?" Because you knew about it, and I explained it to you. And so let me just—it's almost funny too, because it's just like almost like we're volleying, like it's like a ping pong match. Like we're volleying back over a topic over to the Only Friends.
Yeah, we'll say our piece. Only Friends says their piece.
Yeah.
Then we respond a week later.
Right. But I want to be real clear. This is just banter and volley. I have no beef with Berkey.
And
Zero.
I think everyone knows that.
Absolutely none.
But
okay.
We like to get into the nitty gritty of
this is a gossip.
tweets
This is a poker gossip show, right? I mean, that's what we do, and so we can do it. So what you're referring to, well, a few things. So the first thing that you and I talked about, but this went back a little bit. And Matt, feel free to address this, but or not, because Matt doesn't give. I already can tell his demeanor. He generally could give two shits about like a lot of this stuff, especially anything I say.
Matt also needs something to talk about.
Yeah, but he needs something to talk about. So here you go, because some of those topics you guys recently talked about. So here's a good one for you. But one thing I noticed and it's fine, is that like Matt will spit out like some stats. Like he spit out some stats from I believe it was the All-Star anniversary game, and he spit out a bunch of VPIP stats, not only about me but about like 4 other players.
By the way, your VPIP on this past week was the lowest of the table. Just wanted to let you know. 22%. I watched it. I watched the whole thing.
What 22%? What are you talking about?
Your VPIP was the lowest of the entire game. Well, I'm telling you. It's a sad state of affairs.
I played Thursday, and it was
you need to punt a
little more. It was 39 Thursday. So what?
I've never seen you have a 39 VPIP.
Okay, let's. I'll tell you what. If it's over 40, if my VPIP was over 40 the last show, what do you want to bet right now on air? And I don't care. This is just because you love this subject, so I like feeding into it. How much you want to go? Let's book it. That your
VPIP was over 40. So
this last session 40. I played.
Not 40, but over 40.
Yeah, I can't remember. Fuck it, I'll do it.
Okay, so you want to bet that your VPIP was overall in the entire game, the last time you played on Thursday, was over 40. Because I saw the fucking stats.
It might have been 39.
I saw the stats.
It might have been like 39.
Well, you said over 40.
I know I did.
You're going to set that line.
All right, then it has to be
40 and below is for me.
Then it has to be a lower bet 22. Because now that I'm thinking about it, it's lower, but I'll still give you the win. Well, how much you want to bet? I'm still going to do it because I don't like to back out. I'll just take the shot. And
I want to go for dinner tonight, and you Venmo me the money for dinner.
Okay. Fair. You going to go to Coach's again and get a kebab?
I really like that area. You better not go to fucking
Mastro's if I lose.
No, no. I'm going to go to Coach's.
Okay, fair.
I really like that area, and Mediterranean food tends to be healthy.
I'm going to do it right now. I got to find it. You want to just keep yapping because you're pretty good at it.
No. I need you to focus because you can't do two things at once.
That's true.
But I saw your 22%. We can settle on our next episode.
Okay.
We'll talk about it on our next episode.
That's fine. God, I think it's 39. Who cares? Whatever.
So back to Berkey.
Back to the point. Back to the point. The point is, and who cares about that? That's not my thing. I'm not saying is, if Sashimi's VPIP was this, and I think hers was really low that day because we were playing bigger. I ended low too, under 20, whatever, bang, bang, nix and knit, got it, love it, great. Okay. Yes, I got it. Then that's all good. But it's weird because he'll be spitting this out, and I think even Ryan watched it like randomly and text him, dude, you got all your stats wrong. But I don't think Matt cares because he'll go halfway into a conversation and then he'll admit he didn't watch it. So it's the weirdest dichotomy to me is like, and it goes to the other point where, and that's just that. So whatever. So I guess you could talk about it, and if you don't watch it, then you're just assuming. And again, I don't really think it matters. I just think it's interesting that if you're talking about something and then you admit later you didn't watch it, and then you have it all wrong, that it's, I don't know, it's something.
What did he have wrong?
He said there was 4 people that were under double digits, and that's not true.
So Hustler
I don't think there was any.
So Hustler puts screenshots of VPIPs throughout the game, and I'm not sure how you guys measure it, if you're measuring it hour by hour or averaging it cumulatively each time you post it.
Okay.
We're going to interview Ryan. We can ask him.
No, well, it's when they post it, it's to that point what it is.
Okay.
The software system takes care of it.
So Matt goes off of what Hustler, I've seen Matt talk about, and he posts the pictures of the VPIPs, which I think are less important than raising pre-flop, but that's fine. But I think he's going off of VPIPs that he saw Hustler
Isn't the
post.
most important stat the one at the end where it says cumulative winnings and losings? Or is everyone just flexing on how much they raise and how many hands they play?
I think in poker we tend to try
I know for a stream it matters. Sorry, I cut you off. That is totally your trigger. For a stream it does matter, but please continue and accept my sincerest apologies for cutting you off, because I don't know when to get a word in. You talk so much, but go ahead.
So I think in poker we try not to be results oriented, right? So you want to try to play your best regardless of your results.
Yeah.
So winnings and losings over a long period of time, multiple sessions, yes, that's going to reflect how well you're playing.
Sure.
But over one session, not really.
Right, but I don't think that, in my opinion, I think for a poker show, what some people say and Matt say and other people is that they are right. People want to see action, and they want to see big pots, and they want to see. So that is what it is. I agree.
It's not about winning or losing.
No,
it's
I
like
agree.
we want to see high VPIPs on a poker show.
And a lot of people that come onto shows will actually try to even make their VPIP higher so they can get a seat again, because they're basically interviewing for continuing to be on the show to play in those type of games, which are coveted. So totally makes sense. But overall, you could be in a landscape of a game that I could play on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and each game has different players and different dynamics. And it might be for this game, you have to have to at least have a winning formula. It has to be this or that. So, but again, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about entertainment, what's good for a stream versus what could be optimal in any particular game. And there are some games like, optimal is like, 14-15% on pre-flop raise. It really is. And you see I think
if I'm in a game, if I have a VPIP of 14-15%, it's because most of the players at the table are really good pros.
Okay.
And the game is playing a bit bigger than I'm used to.
Well, that could be one of the reasons. The other reason could be the other side of the coin, where you get in a game and everyone's VPIP is like over 45. And if you contribute to that madness on a regular basis, you could get chewed up too, because you can't push anyone around in some games. Like some games, it's just like, let's go.
Yeah, like you're not going to get Andy
like, you're
off
not
of
going
a
to
hand.
3-4 bet. Well, I don't know, Andy or whoever, but there's like just some players like we play in these games that no matter what you do, they're in. Right? So now you have to determine, is it optimal for you to do this, make this move, raise here, do this, because it in some games, it really actually, when you are playing with players that are better, a lot of times those things work. When you're playing with players that are just there, that just want action and they don't care, then what you're doing isn't going to work, and a lot of times that can be costly. But back to the point. Well, that is kind of the point because we talked about it. But so one of the other things that we mentioned and we talked about, because you saw the tweets, and then it was going back and forth between Matt and I interjected lightly with some funny stuff that I put up, like a video, because I don't want...
You're talking about the commentary.
I'm talking about the commentary where he said basically that, like, unless you have Nick and Ali, you're basically... everyone else, and I have the quotes, but basically alluding to the fact that, like, for example, the bike, Live at the Bike and the Hustler, we're crushing them. That's just the truth. Matt said it himself. Everyone knows it. All you got to do is look. Okay. Matt alluded to that, and I think he overstated the point because he made a lot of good points. But when you're so dogmatic, and what I've noticed about Matt, and I could be like this, and so can others, this isn't a dig, but he's so sure of himself when he says something. He's so confident, and that's a good thing to be that way. But he gets so dogmatic on a point that there's no wiggle room. And he wiggled a little bit at the end, but then he brought it back to the dogmatic aspect of his point. And that is that, like, if we were both running our show side by side. What do you want? Do you want to have Nick and Ali, or do you want to have Garrett? It's like one or the other, and that this is going to offset this so much. And he made the statement that, well, it may not bring them even because we're doing so much better, but it's going to have a significant effect on it. Not as much as he says, because the fact of the matter is, and he did talk about you have to have the whole recipe, and that's part of the recipe. But that is just not going to happen, because at the end of the day, when you're watching, and this is just the truth, there's no bang bang, when you're watching a show that is, and this isn't a dig, that is gloomy, that only has, because they can't build lineups, that has these boring, a lot of pros and just like nothing going on, nothing burger like action and players, and no table talk at all, which is another point he made we'll talk about. I don't give two shits who you have in the booth, although yes, Nick and Ali will be so much better than what they have, because the bike is even less, they have even less talent over there as far as commentary, so it would be better. But you are not going to compete with a stream that has 10x better production, 10x better table talk, because another thing he said we'll talk about anyone but G-Man, all the rest, besides Wesley, we built him into a character, and the rest are just kind of duds. Those are his words. That's not true. Like, there's people on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's people in these games that are not duds and that have great table talk, have great action, and have great characters have been built. And he does talk about how important that is. So there's contradiction there, and I'm just going to tell you right now, you could put Nick and Ali in that booth, and if you run the same production, the same lineups, and the same everything, they are not, it isn't even going to be noticeable how much the difference will be.
Let me tell you what I heard.
Okay.
And just to let you know, Nick and Ali, I think, are two of the greatest. I also think Dave Tuckman and Bart Hansen, my personal taste, are the two best commentary duo in poker. And
they're great, but I'm going to throw in Billy DeGaff, because he's one of my favorites.
Here's what I heard Berkey say, or like tweet about. This is what I interpreted. Yeah. And I might be wrong.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
He likes dual commentary. He likes two people in a booth. He doesn't think one person gives poker what it needs. He likes a color commentator and an analytical commentator. That's what he was alluding to when I read his tweets. And Hustler has a single commentary kind of game, or you choose that style, which hasn't been really done before. I think Ali does Poker After Dark by himself in the same type of style that you guys have in Hustler a lot. You guys give priority to your big names at the table to talk. And so commentary is very aware of not talking over Garrett, not talking over like really good table talk. Whereas other shows will really mute the players and have two commentary people talking over everything. So you guys are taking the Poker After Dark perspective, where it's one commentator, and the commentator is more of a ballerina prancing through the action, around the action, and not talking over those great spots when the players are speaking. Because God forbid you talk over Garrett when you're doing commentary at Hustler. You will be attacked by the chat pros.
Sure. Well, I have a lot to say about all that. First of all, I agree with you. This is no reflection on Nick and Ali. I think they're great. Anytime I listen to them, they're amazing. So
I think you were thinking he was talking about Nick and Ali, but I think he used them as an example.
Yeah.
What he was alluding to was a two-person commentary team.
All right. So let me finish the point.
Right.
Okay. Because I get that. But here's the thing, because I did hear him say that. He said that, Nick needs an Ali, and he needs that to be able to carry the show. And he said, well, even if he didn't have him, if he had Jamie Kersetter, that would be a good also addition. So I listened to all that, and I totally get his point about the dynamics of having the analytical and the color and how that works with Lon and what's his nuts?
Norman
Chad. Yeah. And so
what's his nuts?
To the point, well, that's appropriate. And to the point, though, like, fair, but it went further. And And it went further with me. It went further even with my commentators who were not happy at all. And I could tell you, Bart, Tuck, and Billy were not happy with it. And they heard the same thing you heard. And it wasn't that they want to be esteemed as better than Nick and Ali, or that's this. It was the way it was put and how dogmatic it was, that like that's just the recipe. And like, if it's not these guys or Jeff Platt or whoever, like the rest are just like up and comers. And he used the word, you have to go through a lot of duds to get a Nick and Ali. And so sometimes when you use your words like that and you're talking about that and the things he's, how he was saying it and so dogmatic about it, that I think it misses the mark on the point that you're saying he was making also, because the fact of the matter is, if you put Nick and Ali in a certain produced game, it's going to be better, but it's not going to be like the only he was like the missing piece. Like right now the Bike and Hustler are doing this, and we're doing whatever the Bike created in 2008 or whenever they started, and that we could either sit on our laurels or we can take this to the next level. Now, I'm not saying that if we didn't have a Nick and Ali or whatever, that it wouldn't be an amazing combination. It would be amazing for our show, but you have to understand too, like part of our show right now too is not just the fact that there's all these characters, and there's so many more characters than G-Man and Wesley that people want to watch and hear. So again, that's just a little too narrow of a thought process. But either way, like when you saw the old poker, high stakes poker with Gabe and Benza, is that his name? Yeah.
I can't remember no one remembers the other guy's name.
It's Benza or something.
Gabe is just the star of that show.
Yeah, but the other guy, he helped him with his bullshit, right?
And they had a good banter.
They had a good banter. So to the point, very true. But there wasn't a lot of talk at the table. There was a little bit of that. So they needed...
And it was not analytical at all.
No, and not at all. And they needed to carry that show. It wasn't... because it really just added to it. But see, our show is a different theme. It's purposely not cricket quiet. Like you go to a TV, because Matt did say too, the only ones that are getting this right, and maybe I could quote it, hold on, because I don't want to do, and I mean this respectfully, I don't want to do what he does and say things that are out of, only TV produced are hitting it out of the park. That's not true. That's not true. We have TV level production when it comes to audio video.
I don't think he was talking about your production. I think he genuinely likes a 2-person commentary duo. I don't think he was insulting the production.
Only TV produced shows are hitting it out of the park.
Right, and he's talking about not the production, but like the commentary of a TV produced show.
So, for example, give me an example. We are considering. We are eventually going into probably going to be on TV. We have a good enough show for it. So what we are doing is we are producing our show, or we're going to be producing our show the same way we produce it, with the noise in the background and the commentators and the chat and all the bullshit, right? That people love, right? The sounds. But we also are going to side produce it without any of that. So then if we do want a package for TV, we can have it commentaried over, and we can put that kind of package together. That's for one thing, and the other's for another thing, right? So again, I just think the difference has to be made, because when something's said, so like right now, if our show was the same way, but we just didn't put the mics on the players and we just did the type of commentary he wants, it would not be as popular on YouTube.
So look, I think it's okay to say that Matt Berkey's entitled to this opinion, but it's wrong, or it may not be correct. To him, he thinks that it would be better with 2 commentary.
Totally.
But it's working. I've also heard it with 2 commentators, and that also worked. And I think the show in itself is not one variable. It's not just the commentary. It's not just the players. It's not just this, just that. It works. It's got the magic sauce. It's got everything that works, and everything magically works really well together because it is the best poker show. And Berkey can't take that away from you.
No, I understand. And so basically, oddly enough, you're agreeing with me because that's all I'm saying.
Well, one thing I
know it's hard for you.
I disagree with is, I mean, the word dogmatic used to describe Berkey is an ironic one because the way I know Berkey is that he's not dogmatic about stuff. He tries to be as objective as possible, and given new evidence, he would change his mind. So he's not married to this idea or any ideas that I know of. The way I know him is that he's the opposite of dogmatic. That's all. Yeah. And I think that you're looking at this in a vacuum, and it seems that way. But
you're disagreeing on the macro level. You're disagreeing on the macro level, of his personality, of how you know him, and on most topics. I don't know him like you know him. I'm saying that dogmatically on this point.
Yeah.
However he carries himself otherwise, I'll just agree with you because you would know. But I'm just saying on this, it was very pointed, it was very dogmatic, and it was very like, this is it. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of wiggle. And then I think Conrad was kind of like pushing back on him a little bit and this and that, and then they were going, and he kind of wiggled a little bit at the end. He says, no, I'm not saying this. But then he would go right back to just making it that way.
Right. So I think there's a lot of people who say things like, this is the way we've always done it, so this is the way we should do it. And poker's almost always had two commentary people in a show. And so for him, this is like, well, obviously we're supposed to be having two commentators on such a big show in his mind. But it's working. What you're doing is working. Mm-hmm. And I think the commentary, although it's not typical, it works. It obviously works. But look at the viewership.
Veronica, I totally agree. But what I think the point that's being missed.
What are we arguing about?
We're not arguing. We're we're volleying.
Yeah, we're volleying.
We're volleying. I don't feel like I'm arguing.
I mean, it feels weird to not argue.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I said, I know that you prefer to disagree with me on a general basis. So
I am about to put you in a headlock, but I have no reason to now, so we can't do it.
Yeah, no, put me in one. I mean, fine. I'll just keep talking while I'm in one. It doesn't matter to me. So just leave me close to the mic. So the last thing on it, and now I forgot, but I'm going to remember here is, but that's the thing. It wasn't just that you're focusing so much on the two commentary thing. I get it. I agree. Maybe he did make those points. But his point is also if you put Bart and Tuckman in there, or Billy and Bart and Bill, he's basically saying that Nick and Ali are are up here, and I'm not saying they're not. Let me be clear. I think they are amazing. But he's basically saying that like the rest are here, and he used the term, the rest are just duds until you find the Nick and Ali's. And that is really a blanket statement against everything he was talking about, which includes Billy DeGaff, which is fucking amazing on the mic. Tuckman's amazing. Bart's great. Now, they all have three different styles, and you may say, I like this style, I like that style, I hate this style, whatever. But these guys are good, and I'm not just saying that because they're on my staff. I'm not. I didn't mention myself. I didn't mention the other people that are good, but they're not like those three. So to me, that says that, and that's where I think it goes wrong.
So I am now going to fight Matt Berkey next time I see him because Bart Hansen and David Tuckman are the best commentary duo in the world. Let's go.
Okay. So to say anything, you can still say, hey, I think Nick and Ali are the best. You can still say that.
Look, I think
because maybe they are, or maybe he thinks that. But you cannot say that the secret sauce is missing in our show because we don't have those two or Jeff Platt or whatever. Because these three guys I mentioned are fucking amazing, and I just think that just is way too much. And like I said, I was like, just wanted to debate the point. And I think I put up there when Berkey says, well, I'm not trying to, my intention isn't to insult you. He was saying to Tuckman or someone. And I put the clip from Wise Guys where Pesci was insulted by that guy and then he left. And then the guy said to De Niro, well, it's not like I was insulting him or anything. And De Niro goes, not. You insulted him a little bit. So it's like he did. He insulted him a little bit. But those guys were like, not happy.
So look,
they felt insulted. Sorry, done.
do you think as a business, I mean, you should be open to some criticism, whether or not it's correct.
That's
right?
different, yes.
So if we can pivot to something as a business, because I feel like we've talked enough about Matt Berkey criticizing commentary, unless you have something more to add.
I don't have anything. You brought it up.
We're putting Matt Berkey in a headlock next time.
No. And let's be clear. We're just talking about the topic.
Not mad at Matt Berkey.
I like Matt.
We love Matt.
It's just like when Matt gets on there and disagrees with me or he says something, it's fine. As long as
Matt, we volleyed this to you now. So you respond, we'll get back to you next time.
As long as we don't insult each other's character or integrity, I think we're able to debate a topic.
So look, and so like as a business, you're going to be criticized and there's going to be people criticizing you. So one thing that came up recently, which I think is quite interesting, is Alan Kessler, and you do know Alan Kessler.
I do.
He's in my DMs. Like, he sends me.
He's on my jock. He won't get off my 6.
He's on your jock. And so Alan Kessler recently had a run-in with the Ninja Poker Tour. Chris Wallace is one of, I think, 3 people who runs Ninja Poker Tour. And Chris Wallace was the main person kind of giving Alan a hard time. So you want me to give you a backstory on this?
Yeah, because I am not deep into this topic. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
So Alan Kessler, as much as people find him annoying, as much as he's like the cup thief, he always gets his free refills. He's like a super life nit. He also makes poker tours accountable. He always looks at the rake. He always looks at, what the casino is charging for fees and services. And he calls shit out if it's not fair and if it's not standard, right? Because we have an agreed upon amount that isn't too much that we would consider.
We being the poker community?
The poker community has said, like, look, this much is like average. If you go above this percentage, it's too much. So Alan Kessler found out that the Ninja Poker Tour had the highest rake in its $200 tournament. He pointed it out to them, and then they came back with a $700 tournament that had the highest rake in the industry. And then Alan again pointed it out. And Chris Wallace got mad at Alan for pointing it out. And as a business, when you're running a business, you can respond to your customers, but the way you respond shows a lot about how it's run, and it's off-putting the way Ninja Poker Tour has responded to Alan. And also, I'm kind of caught up in this because the Ninja Poker Tour, one of the owners, I crashed at her place for 2 nights.
Is this a thing for you? You're sleeping at everyone's place? You shower in a bucket there too?
What had happened was, remember when the series was in Vegas in November, post-COVID, and there was like some sort of conference in town, and I couldn't get a hotel room, and the hotel rooms that were there were like $1,100 a night. I'm like, I'm not paying $1,100 to stay at Circus. So I reached out to my then friend Andrew Barber, and I was like, hey, can I stay with you? And he's like, let me talk to the people I'm staying with. And he's like, yeah, you can crash here for a couple nights. So I stayed in like on this blow up mattress in the middle of this like upstairs area with no bedroom. I wasn't in a bedroom, and there was like all these poker pros playing at the series, and I was just there for a couple nights. So it was her house. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, if you ever need anything in the future, like if you need some help with anything, like let me know. I sent them coffee. I always send coffee. It's my favorite thing. They have this like automatic coffee machine. I sent them a bunch of coffee to thank them for letting me stay with them. Anyway, so she said, hey, maybe you can help me. You can retweet something, or you can tweet about the Ninja Poker Tour. I'm like, sure, just let me know when.
Okay.
So I would think as a business, if I want someone to retweet something, I'll put the tweet together and then I will send it to their DMs and say, hey, can you retweet this? But she just sent the poster over, and it was like months before the poker tour weekend announcement. So I didn't put the tweet together. I kind of forgot. Then she messages me like a little aggressively, and she was like, oh, I didn't know you had a conflict that weekend. You should have told us or whatever. And I was just like, I'll still put the tweet together. That's fine. Like, I'm going to Cleveland that weekend, but I'll still help her out. Like, she let me stay at her place for a couple nights. So then she messages me like, you liked Alan Kessler's tweet. He said that we had the highest rake in the industry and you liked the tweet. And I was like, do you have the highest rake in the industry? That's what I asked.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, well, if Alan's bringing it up, you probably do.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it doesn't matter. We're looking into it right now, but you liked it and that fucked up the algorithm. I'm like, dude, you can't blame me for fucking up the algorithm. If Alan actually brings something up that's good and it's the right criticism and we need to fix that, and you're basically taking advantage of poker players because your rake is so bloody high, and where's the rake going? Who's being paid by this rake? Then I think it's a right thing, and I'm gonna like his tweet. I'm not gonna be scared to like someone's tweet, you know. And then she got mad at me for that, and I'm like, oh, what kind of fucking business are you running?
How did they respond to Alan that was like way inappropriate?
Yeah. So let me. He sent me some screenshots, and I just think as a business. He said, your integrity is a joke. This is Chris Wallace. Your integrity is a joke. We fixed the second event as promised. Then you said you would come to us directly with future problems, and instead you put us on blast. And Alan's like, because you didn't review the rake on your remaining events and did the exact same thing we'd already discussed. And then you use the same lame, unaware of our fees excuse a second time. This may get you off the hook once, but surely not twice. So Alan's very unapologetic about it. And then Chris Wallace is like, telling him this 5 years ago did nothing to slow him down. He's like a terror with a rat after those comps and freebies. This is the guy who's running a poker tour calling Alan Kessler a terror. And then he's like, especially if they're coming from a tour that competes with us, integrity is expensive in this business, so Alan doesn't spend a dime on it. What the fuck are you doing as a poker tour saying this kind of stuff, tweeting this kind of stuff? You should be like, hey, Alan, thank you so much for keeping us accountable. Thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you so much for making us aware of this. We're going to work on this.
Even if you don't mean it, you should say that. Honestly, right.
As a business, right?
Yeah, I understand.
It's really a terrible look. And then people responded like this guy, Kingfish, terrible look for Ninja Poker and Fox Poker Tour. Keep doing your thing, Alan. Like, Alan's keeping these people accountable, which businesses should be kept accountable.
Is Alan a man of the people?
Alan is a man of the people.
Is he another John Adams?
Alan saved poker. And Alan gets free refills. Alan, you know what? You should get free refills. You should get all the free refills because of what you do for the poker community. No, I really like Alan. He's, Alan is Alan, but he keeps poker tours accountable.
Why is he fixated on me now?
Why is he?
I don't know.
So are we done with the Ninja Poker Tour?
No, I apologize. No, I don't know if we are.
No, I just think that criticizing, you getting criticized is a part of running a business, kind of like how like Berkey kind of did with a commentary, but it's how you respond. And I think your response, like this little back and forth we have with Berkey, is kind of cute, and it's like a self-fueling machine, right? They're going to respond in their show, we'll respond to them. And like there's no hard feelings. No. And you're not going to tweet some shit at him and actually call him names or accuse him of something. And the way Ninja Poker Tour handled this is like a PR nightmare. And all of them have this toxic kind of character trait. And it's really embarrassing. It's really bad. And I honestly think, from my perspective, until they change the way they respond to people and until they change their rake, I don't think people should support the Ninja Poker Tour. Am I going to get a nasty DM because it's the Nick Vertucci show and that we're talking about it? Yeah, you probably will. But hey, like, we got to keep them accountable. Yeah. So Alan, keep doing what you do. So why is Alan now messaging you all the time? Because he messages me. I can't remember what the first thing was. And I'm being serious. Can you remember what it was? I know the last thing was on that hand that I... Oh, he said your acting was so bad. That was when you had last thing. He made a video. But so he... What was the first thing? Let's talk about those quads. All right. So... who are you playing against? Ling. I call her Ling. There's like 3 women who play on the high stakes, and I mix them all up all the time. But so sashimi, sushi, and edamame. Those are the 3. Oh my god. Go ahead. So Ling had nut flush draw, 2 diamonds on the flop. And she was betting into you basically the whole time. By the river, the diamond didn't hit and she gave up, which is like #standard. And he said, because of your acting on the turn with your quads, you flopped quads. He said, because of your acting, she didn't bomb the river. I'm like, she's never bombing river. My bad acting. Your bad acting. Yeah. And I was just like, what are you fucking talking about? he calls her on 2 streets. Obviously, he's got a king at the least, and obviously he has something. Why is she going to bomb river? What are you on the same flush draw?
Yeah. So with that texture of a board and the player she's playing against, like a give up is in order, 100%. Like for example, she, I bet pretty small on the flop. I flopped 4 kings. She raised. I don't know, maybe.
Oh yeah. She raised.
She raised me, and I flatted.
And as soon as you flat, it's like ding, 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 ding. He has something. He probably has a king.
Right. And so I flat, and then on the turn, she's still got a flush draw, and she bets 6,000 into me, and then I call.
And you took forever to call.
Yeah. And so
that's what he's
to
talking
the comment,
about.
and again, this is only just banter, to the comment that you always give up, no. But again, in that situation, with me taking that kind of heat, me being the player that I am, and with the board texture where just a king beats her, aces beat her, everything beats her. Those are the only thing she could try to get me to fold. There's maybe aces bomb in the river, and even then, it's probably a bad bomb. So
raise, if she hadn't raised the flop, then I think like bombing river not bombing, but like betting river might have been an option. But her raise on the flop kind of told her you probably have a king.
Yeah, or I have aces. Either way.
Aces.
Yeah.
Either beats her.
You're right.
But less likely because she had an ace of diamonds.
Yeah, the way
in
the
her
hand went, she can't bomb. And so what Tuckman did, because he's just, he's being funny, stirring the pot, and there was
it was just talk. He was like the Academy Award,
here
but it was
Nick.
just chat because he was filling in the space of, and I know because I've done commentary before, he's filling in the space and just kind of having a light talk about what's going on. He didn't actually mean that, your acting is so bad. And I think Alan Kessler took it literally.
He latched onto it.
He latched onto it, but he took it literally. And I think Dave Tuckman was just like, oh, yeah, we can see the stall. We can see the cards, like Academy Award. It's like, he's just talking about it.
That's fine, yeah.
But I don't think there was...
No.
I'm not trying to defend you because
that's rare.
I definitely would tell you if I thought you were wrong.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't see a problem with that hand. I think Alan was just like turning a mole into a mountain.
Yeah. And
molehill? A mole?
Whatever, molehill.
An anthill?
A mole. He's turning a squirrel into a mountain, whatever you want. But like for example, an acting job would be.
Are you giving us examples?
Yeah, I'm acting. I'm doing my De Niro, and just like, wow.
I love that you're giving us examples.
I didn't do it. I just sat there and I took a long time. So, and again, Tuckman's just making it fun. And so, yeah, I think Alan just fixated on it. And then so he put that like Nick loses all ability to make more, gets the whatever he said.
It's so ridiculous.
And so whatever, and he puts the clip up, which is cool. And honestly, it's just funny. And I'm like, really? Because this and that. He goes, yeah, okay, that's true. He responded, but still. He goes, you're right. There was really no chance, but with your acting job, then there was zero chance. He goes, so he gave me from no chance to zero chance. I don't know what the delta is there. And then I just put, you're cute. And that was it.
So Alan really means well, and I think he's genuinely a good person.
This is no beef.
This is the lack of beef. This is a vegan beef right here.
Yeah, this is like Alan's zero beef.
Yeah, it's an what is it? No burger?
Nothing burger. Low calorie nothing burger.
This is a vegan nothing burger.
Yeah, this is a total nothing burger. This was just fun to talk about.
But but you and I genuinely like Alan.
Yeah.
So
he's lobbying to come on my show, and that's what I text you.
I want him to come on the show.
He's like, I should come on the show. I could talk about Ninja Poker. I could talk about this. Now, Alan Kessler has been verbal, back to the Berkey's point, been verbal how much I suck at commentating. Like in the chat.
Look.
Hold on. Tweets in the chat. Like even Ryan's like, yeah, he like really hammers you.
First of all, Friday commentary I did once by myself.
Why are you always cutting me off now?
Well, because I wanted to give you some credit.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
The chat loses their shit if you say one word over Garrett, and it's a highly technical game, and there's like 1% of chat pros in there who are like, I want my analytical breakdown of every hand. And then if you're just like, if you talk, they get mad at you. If you don't talk, they get mad at you.
Yeah.
If you say like, I think that this hand was within their range because of this 3-bet pot, and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, like some people in that chat will never be happy.
Ever.
I think honestly, with commentary, and we've talked about this, and Tuckman has told me this before, do what you're good at. And you did what you were good at. I have to give you credit. I was listening. I listened to that whole show. I thought you did a good job. I thought you did a very Gabe Kaplan type of style.
That's my style.
I'm
not going to do a Bart Hansen and tell you pot the ratio to hand. Like I just like a little bit of that, but it's not fun for me. I thought
it was fine, and I honestly would tell you, and I probably wouldn't even bring it up if I thought you did a shit job.
Actually, you text me and said you did amazing.
Yeah, I text you. I was like, it's very Gabe Kaplan. I even put it in the chat. Very Gabe Kaplan. Like the very delicately prancing around the action. You know, when there's a hand, something happening, like on the turn, someone's tanking. They don't know if they're going to raise or just call. You let us through it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I love analytical breakdowns of hands, but I don't necessarily think that it needs to be happening 100% of the time.
I'm a color guy. That's just what I do. That's why I have the gift. I have the gift of gab, and that's what I do.
It's tough being a color commentator by yourself, though.
But and the thing is I also know how to break down a hand, so I will give some of that, but I like to stay in my lane. And to the point that what I was making is that, and it's funny to me.
The nerds want.
Of course.
Nerds want more.
Yeah, but the funny part was, this is where I find it funny, nothing else but funny, is that he's hammered me so hard, and then he like hit me, I think on Twitter or something, and said, put me on your show. And I twittered back and I said something like, you want me to put you on my show even after you ride my jock how much I suck at commentary. And he basically tweeted back, he goes, yeah, you're no good, but I think I'd be good on your show, which I thought was hysterical because it's so honest.
I don't think he gets those.
Yeah, social awareness.
Yeah.
No, we talked about that. Maybe a little bit social. So this is a fun conversation because to me, when somebody is maybe a little socially unaware but harmless, and they actually say the things that like you want to say but like you shouldn't, you know what I mean? And he does that with me. I literally look at my phone and smile. Like even when I put, fuck it, you're cute, like just keep it up, like don't stop doing you. And so like I said, he's an interesting guy to me. I find him very interesting and like I said, a little socially unaware, but I am sure that fucker can break down a spreadsheet and give you stats and probably tell you how many whatevers are in whatevers. And so, you know, he's Rain Man. He reminds me of Rain Man. Why is that bad? Oh, no, not because of On the Spectrum. Listen, stop. Let's not be sensitive. I'm just talking Rain Man that he's like so, you know, that way. Did I put my foot in my mouth?
Yeah, you did. You definitely,
whatever.
He'll have a video poker. Yeah, I mean, like he is the video poker king. He knows how to make some money off those machines. I don't. Mm-hmm. So speaking of Hustler Live, Melissa was supposed to be on the show.
Not supposed to be on the show, but there was a thing.
So let's backtrack and talk
we're
about.
really doing the OnlyFriends thing, huh?
We're like leading into it.
Oh, they'll love talking about this too.
So this is about Hustler. So Sashimi is a regular on Hustler. Mm-hmm. And Sashimi made a comment on Melissa's tweet with her before and after, because she's doing a lot of weightlifting and she's got a little bit of booty now, which Melissa's booty looks great, I just want to say. But so Sashimi said, I don't see a difference in the photos. So I understand Melissa's point. Like Melissa kind of got upset about that and said some things about Sashimi on her show. Mm-hmm. But I get it. Like when I was in my early 20s and I was a hot little number, kind of like Melissa is right now, I got hate from other women so much. Yeah. And it's so frustrating, especially older women. And I was like, I never want to turn into an older woman who's just like fucking catty just because some younger girl's cute. But I don't know what Sashimi meant by that, but Melissa took it in a way that it was like catty. I get where Melissa's coming from because I used to get that shit all the time. Yeah, so it triggered her. Could I ask you a question as a feminist? Sure.
Okay. As a feminist, how does a guy say that a woman's attractive without it being simpy and without it being creepy? Because I think Melissa's really attractive, and I think that picture, there's a huge difference. Her ass looks great. So I'm saying that, and I'm saying
You're
that. So
asking how to say it, but
so
you just
how
said
do you
it.
say that without it being like, oh, Nick's? But I mean, but why does that have to be a thing? How do I say that?
Are you saying that you don't know the creep line?
Well, yeah, I guess, because I don't know how to say it other than I think Melissa's attractive, like you said, and I think, like you said, she's a hot little whatever number, and I think that picture of sashimi was wrong because I see a big difference and her ass looked great. I'm asking for a friend, how do you say that without you taking heat as a man? Because I feel that way, but I don't think it should go any further than that. There's no intentions.
I think you can, number one, not say something. You can just keep it to yourself.
But what if you want to? Like, do you want to like agree with your point? You said, why did you say it?
Because it comes from a different place. I'm a woman, yeah.
See, okay, but we should probably just like maybe not go further, because that's when, like, I don't want to like argue about it, but it's so weird to me.
You can just not say anything,
yeah,
and keep it to yourself. Number two, you can be objective and say, hey, I notice a difference, good work. Okay. You don't need to comment about her hot little ass, and I'm not saying that you said that.
I didn't say that, yeah.
But I'm saying men don't have to say, oh yeah, hot little ass. Like a lot, the way to objectively do that is like, she's clearly showing her ass and how it's improved.
Yeah.
So an objective, non-creepy way is saying, hey, good work, big difference.
Okay, so my question is, and again, just for banter, fun banter, is she's showing that picture and it's of her, we're using the word ass, you said it, so I'm using it, showing her ass, the difference. So that's what she's showing. Why is it out of line to say your ass looks better here than it does there?
Well, I don't know if that's out of line, but the big problem is that men objectify things and they make it sexual. So if we're showing improvements in our health, in like we're doing squats,
improvements in our health,
yeah, and our butt improves.
All right.
We want to show that improvement. We're not the ones sexualizing it.
Yeah, but I think that's not you. I think in general, the one point in there is a little bit nonsense, because yes, she's working out for her health, and yes, she wants improvement, but she wants her ass to look better, and she knows that it does.
Right,
and she put a picture of it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And by the way, I can just say what you said. Well done, Melissa, and I think you do a great job on the podcast, and so I think you're smart. Like, okay.
You asked for a friend.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you an objective answer, and I'm telling you why, as women, we get frustrated with men's comments, is because we have bodies too, and not every part of our body needs to be, or none of our body doesn't always need to be sexualized. So you guys, men, and I'm not saying you, but men sexualize so much of women's existence. And sometimes we want to exist without the creepiness. So,
right. But again, and this will only just be some fun pushback.
Like men
I think if, okay. I just,
like,
it's hard for me to argue the point with, it's hard for me to argue.
If a man posts his back, like, and then you can see his butt, you don't see women coming out of the woodwork. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying less than men. You don't see women being like, oh yeah, fuck baby, yeah, fuck yeah, good ass. Like,
because men and women are different.
Because we're not sexualizing every existence of a man.
But there's a big difference between men and women of how we roll,
how we think. But again, we're trying to change those big differences. The
feminist movement.
Yes, we're trying to change. We want to exist, not always to sexually please men visually or whatever. When we post a picture, we sometimes just want to post a picture.
I want to say this.
And we want to feel comfortable posting pictures without men turning it all into something sexual. I'm sure you guys over there are going to talk about this at Only Friends. I would like your feedback, Melissa, specifically, what she thinks. Like, just as a fun, like, lobby back. She may think something different.
No, I know that. And 10 other people may agree with you, and 20 may not.
Also, if you want to talk about this. So when I was younger, in my 20s, I a lot of times was led to believe that my sorry, the producer's talking on the phone. That my importance or my value was centered around.
You got ADD. So do I.
Yours is so bad.
Yeah.
So I was raised to believe that my importance and my value was centered around how attractive I was to men. And that's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Especially when you are actually,
Sure.
when I grew up, when I was in my 20s, I was a hot little number. And then the same men who like love that about you discard you after a certain age. And we're getting to a place where we're recognizing that our value is not just the male gaze and whether men find us attractive or not.
Sure.
And I hated that. And so now as I'm getting older, I love this new generation of women that are empowered and that everything isn't about attracting men, for straight women, I should say,
so
or
let
bisexual
me ask this,
women.
and this is just, I like to, how my mind thinks. So let's say Melissa put just the pictures up of her legs before and after. And
Melissa can do what she
You have to
wants.
let me finish though.
Okay.
Right. So I know she can do what she wants. That's not the point. I'm not arguing this on a like political platform where we're trying to win. I'm just saying, like, if she puts up a picture of that and someone says, wow, your legs look great, way better. Is it because they're legs and not like a more sexual aspect of a woman's body that you can say that, but you can't say that other thing?
So
and
first
I swear,
of all,
I'm really curious. I'm not trying to debate you.
As a feminist, I think that a woman, if she wants to post something super sexual and wants that sexual feedback, that's fine. But I think it's very clear when women do that. So like if Melissa or any woman, I don't want to just keep using her.
Yeah.
But if any woman puts a picture of her legs,
somebody else, because this is not about her. I think she's great.
If a woman wants to post a picture of her legs, if she says, oh, who likes my hot and sexy legs? I just did whatever. And everyone like piles in the sexual responses. I mean, clearly you can see that she wanted that. But if a woman posts her legs like, hey, I've been squatting 350 and I'm competing, blah, blah, blah. And men are like, oh, fuck yeah, you sexy bitch. Like, clearly she didn't want that. Clearly it wasn't a sexual thing. Clearly she's posting for that. So I think like,
is it a sexual thing to say you have great? Is it a sexual thing to say you have your legs look great?
Yeah, I think that is fine, but I think it's good to understand the line of creepiness and not creepiness.
Hence why I asked you, and we do have a difference of opinion on that, which is good. That's why we're a good combination. I do agree, I do think, and then let's leave it here if you're okay with it, because I'm not going to tell you what we should do. I just want to ask you if you're okay with it. Let's leave it at this after I say this, or maybe make a comment. But I just think that sometimes, I think you're right, that if a man completely goes there and completely becomes creepy and then pushes and says things, I'm totally with you. But I do think that there's a little bit of an it's overdone a little bit in the feminist movement, only because they're so hyperly sensitive to that point that sometimes it's not meant, like what I said right now is like, what if I just said buttocks? Like, hey, look, she post a picture, you look great, your butt looks great, good job, your work has whatever, and whatever. Like, I don't have any intentions for Melissa. The only reason we're even talking about it is because I actually agree that Shashimi's point was not really true. So like, I think that like Shashimi was wrong because there's a big difference.
So you have to understand kind of the backstory, which you wouldn't because you're a man, right? And I'm not saying, can you let me finish?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not saying it in the way that you think I'm saying
Okay.
it. I'm saying it in a way where I could post a fucking Excel spreadsheet and men would be like, oh, fuck, that's so fucking hot. You're such a fucking hot whore. Like this is the kind of stuff they do on my my TikTok. I'll literally be like, hey, I repotted my plant. And guys are like, you're such an old fucking whore. No wonder you're alone. Like, no one wants you. This is what happens when you're a feminist. Yeah. And it's like, it's insane how, and I'm not saying you do that, but there's a percentage of men who do that. So it's hard for us to exist when we're so used to having this world where like men are commenting and making everything sexual that we post, not all men.
Yeah, I got it.
And then when we post something like you're seeing the post of the legs or whatever and someone's making it sexual, when we're saying, hey, we'd like to exist in a place where not everything is turning sexual, and like we're starting to want to push like, hey, I want to post my legs without them turning sexual, but like literally everything I post, like someone's turning it into something sexual, and it's so annoying. Yeah. I get so many men trying to send me money to like send them my feet.
This is totally, but this is, let's drop this after this. But that example of guys saying those dirty, raunchy things is such an exaggeration compared to someone saying your legs look great. That's all.
But we're trying to repel, like, unfortunately, you all get grouped in together. And you have to understand our perspective and where we're coming from.
I do understand your perspective. If I could understand your perspective, but then I can also say to you that this example is such an exaggeration compared to this that that it's hard and it maybe not, in my opinion, appropriate to bring the two together, because then you are saying the guy that says, hey, good job, Melissa, your legs look fucking amazing, is the same guy that's saying all those dirty words that the guy said to you. And that's such a complete exaggeration that I don't think it could be brought into the same conversation. And I think if it does, it then alludes to the fact that the thing that was said that's hardly nothing is like that. And it's just not.
So I'm just telling you what the backstory is and why we feel
that's why
this
there's such
way.
a sensitivity to it.
Yeah, but I think, again, going back to if a woman posts her legs and you say, hey, great job, like she's clearly posting about a competition or weightlifting that she's done, and you say, great job, I can see a difference, that's not creepy, and you know that. So to go back to the game that she was supposed to be on.
Okay, let's talk about that. Thank God. I want to sincerely apologize for me taking that off the rails, because like I was sincerely like that kind of thing. As much as it, how about this? As much as it bugs you that way, it bugs me the other way when the tent's not there, and then you're put in that box. Of course,
it can be can be frustrating when the intent is not there and you get, but and that's unfortunately one of the side effects. But I also get the feminist. I get the feminists after me for doing a show with you. Like a few of them I've like blocked. I'm like, he's not what you think. Like, just listen to the show.
What would you even think? I don't do anything. But
I won't even tell you what they say. I just block them.
I'm just a man that acts like a man. Anyways, I'm joking with that.
So Melissa was supposed to play on High Stake, or not on High Stakes, on Hustler Casino Live.
Yep.
And then Sashimi was also in the game, and there was like something going on because Melissa's a little hurt by what Sashimi said. And then she said the stuff about Sashimi on the podcast. And then like, does Sashimi have any?
I have no idea. So let me tell you what I know. And Melissa, either you are really liking this attention or you're really pissed off. Either way, these are just things we're talking about. And I'll just put it to you this way. I've not spoken to Sashimi. I don't know anything about it. I just know the public back and forth. And then the only reason I know about it, and I don't remember the exact platform, I thought maybe she was in the chat of her own podcast saying something about getting showered or something from not being able to play. And maybe she was contacting Billy DeGaff, who runs that game, and didn't know it. Maybe she didn't know who was responding to her. I don't know. There might be a Max Payne Monday like email or something. I don't even know. And so she said that, and I'm like innocently, I'm like, you can play. Like, why couldn't you play? Because I'm not thinking at this level of all this shit going on. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, because of this. So then I finally got like privy to what was going on, and I contacted Billy and I said, hey, is there, and he goes, it's like this, Nick. He goes, I got no problem with Melissa. I don't. He goes, but Sashimi's part of our family, and she's like plays, and there's this thing, and it happened, and blah, blah, blah. So I just didn't want to put that explosive type of thing in there. And I said, well, how about this? I said, how about they just like don't have to agree with each other, but if they're both adult enough just to say, hey, let's just like bury it, but not have to like, you're right, I'm sorry. Nobody has to be like sorry. They can all carry their crosses, right? So let me say this. And he's like, okay, that's fine. Like if that could be the case, that's fine. I think it's good. I said, yeah, I'd like her to play. I like those guys. I want them to feel comfortable coming here. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool, dude.
So is there a world, and I'm sure this is, I've considered this, like, did Sashimi say that and like not really mean anything about it?
I don't know.
Do you know Sashimi?
I know
like,
her.
Is she a nice person?
I can't. Well, see, here's the thing. I've had 20 words with Sashimi in my whole life. I played with her a couple times. She seems nice enough, but I don't know the true character of Sashimi or Melissa. I have no idea. I don't know them. I just know them as who they are. And right now they've both been nice to me, and I like them both.
So I will give Sashimi the benefit of the doubt, because I don't know what her intention. It seems weird to just comment on someone's photo that you don't really know and say something catty. Like, I think maybe she didn't intend. I'm trying to give her a benefit of the doubt. I don't think she intended to be rude. Maybe she actually didn't see a difference.
Yeah.
Maybe she's commenting like, hey, Melissa, you're still a slim person.
This isn't silly to them, but it's silly to me. Meaning, like, I think the whole thing is silly. But who knows what people feel when they read that comment or how they interpret it or how she meant it. I really can't speak on that, because then I'd be putting words in the sashimi's mouth and I'd be telling you how Melissa should feel.
I think the baseline should be we give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't know. And all I know...
Because I haven't seen her on the live stream be like rude to anyone.
Again, I haven't either. And I don't know. So far, they've both been nice and cordial to me. And I am not Switzerland. I never take the high road just to be like politically correct. I really mean when I say I got nothing on it, because I don't know them well enough. But what happened was I contacted Melissa back and I said, you're fine. You can play. I said, the only thing is that, like, you know, Sashimi won't mention anything. And if you don't either, you're cool. Like, just play. Like, I want you to be welcome at our show. Mm-hmm. Same with Matt. Like, he's referred to not playing. I want him to come play. Like, I like those guys. I don't like them like because I know them. I just don't want beef with them. And maybe I do like them if I really got to know them, right? So she said, well... I said, she goes, I'm not apologizing. And I said, no, I'm not asking you to apologize. Or maybe Billy said something about that. Or I think Billy did respond to her and say apologizing or whatever. And then I contacted him back. I said, hey, Billy, don't make them do that, because they want to carry their crosses. Let them just, he goes, okay, fine.
Let them deal with it themselves.
And so I contacted her back. I said, I talked to Billy. No one has to apologize. Everyone just has to be cool and not make it a thing. And she said, nah, I just don't feel comfortable now because of this and that and whatever. And I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah, it's not worth it enough to me. I'll just pass. And I said, okay, do you want to play the Tuesday game? She said, yeah, maybe sometime I'll do that. I said, okay, good luck. Like, that's it.
Hey, you know what? I think what you and I have done here tonight is we've solved all the world problems.
We have.
Because I kind of feel like, given that we understand that sashimi probably didn't mean anything evil by that tweet.
She might have.
And maybe Ninja Poker Tour was a little bit out of line, and maybe Berkey just didn't see things from a full perspective. And I feel like we've solved world problems today.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's, who knows what it is, but
we're the problem solvers.
None of it's worth it. It's all nothing burgers. And
hey, man,
let's all get along.
Let's all just love each other and be in a hippie cult together.
And now we've been going an hour and 11 minutes. So with your permission, not that I need
it. Where's your light?
Not that I need your permission, because let's remind everybody, this is the Nick Vertucci show, and I am Nick Vertucci, and this is Valerie Brill. Anything last words?
Everyone.
Because you've had a lot of words tonight.
Everyone on Hustler Casino Live in the chat pros all call me Valerie now.
You are Valerie. This is your new moniker. If you get stopped by the police and they say, do you have an AKA? You will put on that FI card, Valerie.
The police aren't going to stop me.
The Nick Vertucci Show. Thank you for tuning in. NV out.